Hello, Florida. Hello, Miami. It is good to be back. It is good to be back in Miami. I was just in Florida, and it is true that Sasha outscored me on the first hole. I took her, I think, on the third. It was tight the whole way, though. But it is wonderful to see all of you. Looking out at this crowd, I know how many of you worked so hard on my campaign, have been worked hard on behalf of Democrats for years here in Florida, and are going to be working hard on behalf of the great ticket that we're going to be having this year. There are a number of people that I want to acknowledge. Obviously, first of all, you have got a wonderful senior senator right here in Florida who's working hard every day. Give Bill Nelson a big round of applause. An outstanding congressional delegation. Ron Klein is here. Alan Grayson is here. Ted Deutsch is here. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is here. Soon to be Member of Congress Joe Garcia, running in Florida's 25th. Running for Florida Attorney General Dan Gelber is here, state senator. Also running for Florida Attorney General Dave Ehrenberg, also state senator, is here. We've got Scott Maddox, who's running for Agricultural Commissioner for the state. And we've got Matty Bauer, mayor of Miami Beach, in the House. So, as I said, it's just great to be with friends, and you were with me when we were up. You were with me when we were down. If it weren't for you, I would not be standing here as President of the United States. And as your president, it is my honor to stand in support of the next governor of the great state of Florida, Alex Sink. You know, at a difficult time like this, you need somebody in Tallahassee like Alex. She combines the sensibility of a successful businesswoman with the tenacity of a consumer watchdog, which is what she's been for the last 4 years as Florida's CFO. She's cut waste. She's eliminated unnecessary contracts. She's saved the state tens of millions of dollars. She's protected countless seniors and homeowners from being taken advantage of by predatory lenders. She's put this state's entire checkbook online so you know exactly how your tax dollars are being spent. And now she's running to be the economic ambassador for this state with a plan to attract new companies and new jobs and new opportunities to the Sunshine State. So Alex knows what it takes to change business as usual in Tallahassee. She's not afraid to take on the status quo. She's done it before. She's going to do it again. So I want all of you to do me a favor. I know everybody here, I'm preaching to the choir. But I need you to talk to your friends. I need to talk to your neighbors. I need you to send out email blasts. I need you to raise money. I need you to walk and knock on doors. Whatever it takes to make sure that Alex Sink is the next governor of Florida. We need to move forward. We need to move forward in this state. And let me also say something about the next senator from the state of Florida, Kendrick Meek. Now, Kendrick's been a champion of middle-class families and somebody who has not been afraid to stand up to the status quo and special interests. So we need that kind of fighter in the United States Senate. I need you to help him get there. We need leaders like Alex and Kendrick in this country because we are facing an incredibly challenging time. 18 months ago, I took office after nearly a decade of economic policies that produced sluggish growth and falling incomes and falling wages and took a record surplus to a record deficit. And these policies culminated in the worst recession of our lifetimes. In the last 6 months of 2008, 3 million Americans lost their jobs. The month I was sworn in, 800,000 more Americans lost their jobs. The month after that, 600,000. The month after that, 600,000. Before we could even get our economic policies in place, we had already seen devastation across this country. And behind these numbers, behind these statistics, there's a story of heartache and frustration. A factory worker who was just a few years shy of retirement suddenly seeing his plant closed and not knowing where to turn. Or a single mom who sends out application after application but doesn't get a call back and wonders how she's going to pay the bills. Or a college graduate who worked hard, got a degree, and all they've got to show for it is a mountain of debt. And then some kids planning to go to college decided they couldn't afford it because their family needed their help. I hear these stories every day. I read them in letters every night. The struggles and the hopes of these Americans are why I ran for office in the first place. That's why I am going to work as hard as I can for as long as it takes to turn this economy around. That's why I ran for office. That's why Alex is here. That's our goal. Now, Florida, we're not there yet. We are not there yet. We know that. It took us close to a decade to dig ourselves into this hole. It's going to take some time to dig ourselves out. 8 years. It takes time to bring back 8 million jobs. That's the hard truth. If somebody tells you different, they're probably running for office. But here's what I can tell you. After 18 months, I have never been more confident that we are headed in the right direction. We are doing what's needed to move forward. We are rebuilding this economy, not just for the short term. We had to rescue the economy short term, but we're also building the economy for the long run, for our children, our grandchildren. We did not become the most prosperous country in the world by rewarding greed and recklessness of the sort that helped cause this financial crisis. We did not come this far by letting special interests run wild in Washington, writing their own rules. We did not get here by just looking after ourselves and not looking after our neighbors. We got here by rewarding the values of hard work and responsibility and by investing in our people and making sure that economic growth happened from the bottom up, middle-class families and small business owners. We did it by outworking and out-educating and out-competing every nation on earth. That's who we are. That's who we need to be. This is a serious time. Right now, countries like China and India and South Korea, Germany, they are fighting as hard as they can for the jobs of the future. They're trying to outcompete us on things like clean energy. They're trying to outcompete us on education and how many engineers they produce. And frankly, in some cases, we've been slipping. We used to be number 1 in the number of college graduates. We now rank number 12. Now, let me tell you, Florida, the United States of America, we do not play for second place. We play for first place. We've got to rebuild this economy stronger than it was before. And at the center of that agenda are 3 powerful words: made in America. We've got to start making things here in the United States. Instead of giving tax breaks to companies that ship our jobs overseas, we've got to cut taxes for companies that create jobs right here in the United States of America. We got to give tax cuts to small business owners and tax cuts to clean energy companies and tax cuts to middle-class families, which is what we did. 95% of American workers got a tax cut under my administration. That was the right thing to do. And we've got to have an energy strategy in this country. Instead of prolonging an addiction to oil that endangers everything from our security to our coastlines, we're jump-starting a homegrown clean energy industry in this country. I don't want to see solar panels and wind turbines and advanced batteries that go into electric cars. I don't want them manufactured elsewhere. I want them manufactured right here in the United States of America by American workers. We've got to invest in 21st century infrastructure. That means new bridges, new roads, but it also means faster internet, high-speed railroad, projects that will lay the foundation for long-term economic growth, but also produce hundreds of thousands of new private sector jobs. And we are helping old industries, like the American auto industry, get back on its feet and retool for the 21st century. Now, you'll remember a while back, this was an industry, the auto industry, that had lost hundreds of thousands of jobs in the year before I took office. And we had to make a tough decision about whether to help them out or walk away, which might have cost another 1 million jobs. And a lot of folks said we should walk away. We decided, no, we're going to take a different approach. Instead of continuing to give bailouts to the auto companies and asking nothing in return, we said, we are going to make sure you restructure so you can compete over the long haul. And we got all the stakeholders together and worked hard, helped GM through bankruptcy, helped Chrysler through bankruptcy. And today, all three automakers are operating at a profit for the first time in years. They've had the strongest job growth in more than 10 years. GM just announced it's going public again. I visited a Chrysler plant in Detroit a few weeks back, and this was a plant that would have shut down had we not moved forward. And now they're producing these outstanding cars, and 14 workers had just won the lottery at this plant. Now, instead of cashing out, quitting their jobs, most of them stayed because they love their work. They're proud of what they do. The guy who bought the winning ticket, he bought one of the cars that he helps assemble for his wife. And then he bought flags for his hometown because he loves this country and he loves his workers. And he loves the company he works for. And that symbolizes something. It sends a message that sometimes the naysayers in Washington don't understand. Do not bet against the American worker. Do not bet against American businesses. Do not bet against the American people. Don't bet against American ingenuity. We are coming back, and we're coming back strong. But to come back strong, to rebuild for the long run, we've got work. We've got to ensure that our workers can compete with any workers on earth. And that's why we're reforming our education system based on what works for kids, not what works for the status quo.